Hello, and welcome to Khyber Shards, a 5th edition actual play show set in the Eberron campaign world in the age of Kulsir.
Bum, bum, bum.
Tonight we
Colin,
have
please wait until
very
Philip's done.
special guests, Laura and Mia. We'll remember Mia from past appearances as Nardali, and you'll remember both Laura and Mia from our Rebel Warriors episodes, and that is why we have an excuse for them to return. Is that tonight's episode will focus on the Dragonbladez and their efforts to retrieve the elven artificer Cardane from the depths of the Dreadhold. If you're wondering why there's not a recap, it's because Mia and Laura haven't seen the episode that we recorded last as of this moment. So, you know, it's like over there somewhere. Go watch it if you want. But the good news is, if you haven't seen last week's episode, you can still watch this week's episode because it's happening at the same time.
That's
So,
true.
Concurrency.
Without further ado, I'll introduce how our cast is playing with the different NPCs, which you can see around their frames. Colin will be playing Cadric, team leader. Eric will be reprising his role as Bajak. Laura will be playing Ilya, and Mia Donabella. And Casey, who wasn't able to be with us when we did Rebel Warriors before, is joining as Thistle. This will be the best adventure she's been on since the last one.
It's true.
Boy, we hope so.
I'm wearing that tank top.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's fantastic.
We have arrived at meta.
So for those who are interested in mechanics, I thought I would go around and you guys can say what classes you selected for the characters. I gave the players some amount of freedom in what they wanted to build as. So we'll start. I'm just going to go around the order that they're appearing on my screen right now, and we'll start with Colin.
So we have Cadric as a warlock. You will remember from the end of the Rubble Warren episode that his gifted sword spoke to him, and after some story finessing, we settled on an otherworldly patron as the route we're going with his warlockishness.
Yeah. For those that are wondering which one, we are using the genie to represent a draconic spirit in the sword.
Ooh.
So, Eric, what'd you do with Bajak?
With Bajak, I made Bajak. He is a mark of finding half orc, so he does have the mark of his house, but he is a Way of the Long Death monk.
Oh,
Awesome. Casey, how do we build Thistle?
She's a fairy paladin. Obviously serves the Queen of Thorns.
awesome.
And I chose Oath of the Ancients for her.
All right. Laura, I know you put a lot of deciding into which classes to select Ilya. What did you decide to do with Ilya?
Well, everyone should be impressed with me because I only went with 2 classes. First
That
of
was
all.
surprising to me.
Even though I was given 13 classes to play with. And I went Ranger 11, Warlock 2, which hurt me a little bit because I really wanted another level of Warlock, but it's okay. And I'm a Gloomstalker Ranger.
Nice.
And something Warlock that I forgot. Undead Warlock.
There you go. And Mia, what is Donabella's class?
You're going to have to help me with this because she's a fighter with telekinetic abilities, and she's we've got her using the psionic power. Yeah. So
she's a Psi warrior.
Psi warrior.
The fighter subclass that we built her with.
Cool.
All right. So the situation was that the strike force were setting off to try and intercept a herald in the ruins of Sharn in the hopes of acquiring their weapon as part of the science team's scheme to build a time travel paradox bomb that will destroy Kulsir. Meanwhile, the Dragonbladez have set off to acquire the elven artificer Cardane, whose know-how is needed by the science team for the completion of their task. So that's where we are. So where we're picking up, Thistle has opened a path into the Feywild for you, and you have been able to traverse, as you have probably done on missions before. You've been able to traverse the winding paths of the Queen of Thorns domain, dark and twisted labyrinth of gigantic thorn vines that is now ruled by the being once called River, and have exited a tree and are back in the material plane. It is cloudy, and there's a steady rain falling. You're on a rocky, windswept island in the Lazar Principalities on the far eastern part of the continent of Corvair, previously home to various highly independent pirate lords before becoming a part of the domain of the Reborn Queen. As you come out, you are met, as you expected, by members of the Resistance. There are several people here, and their leader is familiar to you, an Irani elf named Kara. So you made it.
We have.
Of course.
All right, we have an airship that can get you there, but you're going to have to decide how you're going to try to go in. So let's go, and we'll get you underway. Not a good idea to stay still too long. And so you are led across the moor to a cliff and on to an old pirate airship from the days when the Lazar Principalities were piratical. And as the elemental ring pulls you away, you guys have a moment to consider how you want to try and get in. So the way that we're doing this for you, I explained to the players, but for our viewers, we're not going to map out the whole Dreadhold and run it like a super dungeon. You totally could do a dungeon crawl through the Dreadhold, and that's a totally fun, valid way to do this. But it's not the way that I'm good at, and it would take simply forever. So we are treating the Dreadhold as a skill challenge, something that you are maybe familiar with in D&D from previous editions or its adaptation to 5th edition. Basically what that means is there are several things you guys have to accomplish in order to get achieve your objective. And one by one, we're going to move through those things, and each of those things is going to require you to succeed on 5 skill checks. You guys can decide how you want to, what skills you want to use. Each of you gets to roll once in those 5. And if at the end of 5 you haven't got 5 successes, a complication will occur. And you'll have to deal with that complication before you can proceed. So that's basically how this is going to work. Each round of the heist is going to be each of you getting to make a roll. And if you succeed, all of you succeed, then you'll have overcome the first obstacle and can move on to the next one. If not, you'll have to deal with the complication. Your first obstacle is getting in. The airship is taking you through the pouring rain, and far off, you can see dimly the outline of the Dreadhold, sticking up like a tower rising directly out of the sea. The Dreadhold sits on an outcropping of rock that is perpetually lashed by storms and veiled in mist. The Dreadhold sits on a manifest zone to the plane of Lemania, which is the plane of elemental nature. And so it is perpetually storm-racked, perpetually mist-shrouded, which makes the approach to it more difficult. Sitting on top of the rocky outcropping, about 40 to 60 feet at various points above the waves, is a fortress, with sheer walls that run straight up from the cliffs. 4 large towers mark the corners, and a tall central keep rises from inside the ward of the old fortress, which was long ago converted into a very, very secure prison. For normal invited guests, you would dock at the port of Galegate and be able to walk up a twisting path to the main gate of the prison, at which point you could go in, assuming you were expected and allowed. The village of Galegate was once the home of craftsmen and other workers who served the needs of the prison above them, but it is now simply in a very literal sense, a ghost town, filled with unquiet spirits and other servants of the reborn queen, who watch the only real viable port into this prison that she now holds. So you all need to decide what your approach is going to be for getting inside the walls, which is our first obstacle. You can roll to do stuff. You can also roll to say that you did stuff in the hours and in the travel. That's fine too. But first, you can kind of have a conversation about how you want to attempt this approach. What is your means of getting in going to be?
Okay, real quick, just so people are aware of what Bajak is capable of, because
totally
due to everything that's happened to regarding Bajak's family and stuff, Bajak has become the strong and silent type. So he wouldn't be super energetic involved in the conversation, but I want you all, because you all would have seen him work. Bajak can fall 100 feet without taking damage, and effectively more. Basically, due to him being a monk, he can reduce any falling damage he takes by 65. So, so he can just jump out of airships and stuff and land on the ground and be fine. Additionally, he can run across any liquid or vertical surface for 150 feet. So
What?
If he
Monks
needs to
be
run
crazy,
up,
guys.
Wow.
If you didn't know
Yeah.
that monks be crazy, monks be crazy.
So I'm thinking very Assassin's Creed-esque, where he can just scale up a vertical or like run across and stuff like that. So if they're like if it's like a classic fantasy prison where like there are windows along the sides of the building but like no accessibility to get to them or something, perhaps Bajak could run up to one of those with a rope or something. So that, in terms of trying to get in, are the big things that Bajak can do. So
the same for Kadric. That's the thing that you guys would have known by this point, is somewhere along his journeys with the sword, he gained the ability of flight and has wings that sprout from his back, and they are radiant light. And so he has flight as an option as well, which would obviously make dropping onto something viable for Kadric the same. So
you can carry someone even.
I can.
Am I the only one who doesn't fly?
I do
Bajak
also
doesn't
have wings
fly,
and I can
he
fly.
falls.
Bajak
Well.
can be thrown. It's the same thing.
I don't think I
Also-
can fly. I have telekinesis.
Oh, I
So
just
can't-
assume you
make
can
it.
fly because you have telekinesis.
Yeah, you can't fly. You can fly a very short distance with your force empowered leap, but
Right.
so you can force jump, but not quite fly. But you do have 3 characters who can fly, which is
Mhm.
A lot.
not an insubstantial amount.
And I can carry
make
anyone
us,
that's not overburdened.
I can make us all walk on water, just like Jesus.
Thank you,
Noted.
Jesus.
That's awesome.
Okay, so one of my features is as a background of Sage, he's a researcher. So I would like to roll to know if there's anything on the cliffside that would be the least likely place, which would make it an option for us.
Okay. So sure, you can roll a check using. Well, what skill would you like to use for Cadric to know that?
I think I would like that to be investigation because we've known
Sure.
that this was going to happen for a day and a half. And so since that's something that is accessible to him knowledge-wise through his pact, he would have known where to research. So I would like investigation.
Sure. Roll an investigation.
21.
Nice. That is a success. Other than the village at the bottom of the path, you know that there's a path that switchbacks its way up the cliff. For the remainder of the circuit, the walls come right up to the cliff. But there are 4 open towers. There's one at each corner, and there's the central tower. So in terms of places that you could attempt to land or to scale to, depending on which way you're coming from, those tower roofs would be pretty good. Although, of course, there would be the risk of running into some guards when you landed. So it sounds like the question is, are we trying to get in from above or from below?
Okay, good, because that's what I was wondering is if we're dropping in or scaling.
Yep. I mean, so between the wait, okay, so Cadric can fly and therefore could carry some.
Back.
Okay. Cadric can
That
fly.
was scary.
And could carry somebody. Thistle can fly, but Thistle is smaller than all of you. So unless you can someone can enlarge Thistle, or
I can
reduce.
actually. I have enlarge and reduce. So
Wow.
That's-
Okay, Thistle could be made larger, or one of you made smaller, and that would allow for
Oh my God.
someone to carry.
One
We
of
only need
those
2 people
routes is way
carry.
funnier.
The other 3 can get down on their own. So
I really want to
true.
be carried by Thistle, and Ilya really wouldn't want to be. Just a little Barbie Ilya. Oh.
wait, you're proposing that Thistle cast reduce on the person they're carrying, not enlarge
Yeah.
on themselves.
Yes.
That's way funnier. It's way funnier.
It's way funnier.
less
Okay,
likely
so
to be seen.
you guys are you're definitely able to assign enough people carrying that you guys could go in from the air without danger. The potential thing that you would need to contend with in such an approach that would be contended with through dice rolling is that there is an aerial guardian. And
Ooh.
as you are flying in, you can see occasionally this flickering of purple in the gloom. And as you get closer, it resolves into a shape of the huge skeletal corpse of a dragon that seems to be lit inside with purple fire as it flies around the tower on the ruinous membranes of its wings.
Well,
That
that's
doesn't
pretty cool.
necessarily make an aerial approach a bad idea, but it is something you'll have to contend with. And then, of course, you have people who can run up walls. So you
I don't
guys
know.
kind of have the
Kind of
choice.
felt like that made it a bad idea.
The biggest crime is that this has to be a stealth mission because I want to fight the dragon.
No, you do not. Not
Yeah,
when
I
Philip
do!
is controlling the dragon. You do not. You want
I
to.
want to be
Donna
friends
Bella
with the
does
dragon.
Philip has killed my character with a dragon, so
It's true.
I mean, Bajak can obviously run up the wall without a problem with a rope, and then.
oh, I
everyone
have
else
rope
can-
trick too.
What
So
is
wait,
rope
the
trick?
rope. I don't know. The rope climbs for some reason, and it goes into an extra dimensional space.
Yeah, you
What?
can
Oh,
basically
that's
just
if you need
like.
to hide.
So yeah, Ilya can essentially hang a rope in the air, and you guys climb through the loop into a little extra dimensional space to have a safe place to rest or hide
Oh
or
my
something like
God.
that. That's super
And I
useful
have-
in what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is awesome.
And I also have pass without trace. And am I crazy, or was that never concentration?
No, it's always been concentration.
Okay, I'm crazy then. But I do have pass without trace, and I think we should use that.
That's
We
also
should.
very good.
That seems very
Concur.
valuable.
Okay, so if we go in from the ground, the idea would be we could take the switchback route and then scale our way up instead of using the door. Am I hearing that idea correctly here, Eric? That we would scale up the side, so like
Yeah.
the
Bajak
prisoner
can get-
tower,
Yeah.
and then
Bajak can get
start
way up
from
there
the
if there's a
top of
window.
Yep.
I think the Dreadhold is larger than 150 feet, though, right? Like Bajak can't run up to the ceiling, but if there's a window or something that we could at least tie a rope off onto.
That is a viable option. Gang, how do we feel about it?
Mechanically, what does sounds like a dumb question. Does flying help run up the side of a building?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can fly
Okay,
up the side of a building.
excellent. That's what I was hoping to hear. Just
I-
making
The
sure.
rope would
It
be
is
for the
also-
non-flying members. Yeah.
I was gonna say it is also the case that you guys could get to the bottom and then fly up
Yeah.
if you just
Mhm.
don't want to come in from above. It's really up to you guys. Any of these things are viable. It's just what skill checks you'll need to make is all that you're determining.
Looking at this layout that you gave us, that was my thought, is like be dropped off around the bottom corner at the Golden Ward prisoner tower, and then work our way up to the top of that, and then in from the top.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Where is my force sleep? How far can Donabella jump with that?
I think you can jump 60 feet. Where it is probably under either actions or features and traits.
Okay.
Towards the bottom, I would guess.
Because if she can make the jump without needing to ride on the back of Thistle, she'd want to do that.
You will not be able to jump from the bottom to the top of the wall. I'm
No, but
fairly
if there were
certain.
a window, right?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Can I do? I could do my rope trick, and then you can jump into my extra dimensional space.
Absolutely.
It's under features and traits. You have an ability called
Psi-powered
Telekinetic
leap.
Adept. Yep, psi-powered
yeah.
leap. Yep.
But it's just not telling me how
Oh,
How
that's
much?
strange.
Did my research reveal to me how tall we're working with here?
Oh, it's as a bonus action, you can propel your body with your mind. You gain a flying speed equal to twice your walking speed until the end of the current turn.
Nice.
So-
Okay.
Yes, Cadric, the walls are 100 feet above the top of the cliff, and the towers are up another 20 feet above the walls.
Okay. So she would have to make 120 feet, Donabella, to not be carried?
Yes. No.
As
you would have to, well, from the bottom of the wall, you'd still have to get
Yeah.
up the cliff.
I also can fly for 10 minutes on one cast, so I would have plenty of time at 120 feet to go down and pick someone else up if we didn't want to size manipulate.
You guys are definitely capable of doing this. Like you have the things. You can do this. It's just a matter of which way you want to go.
I think we're going from the bottom over the wall. And
Okay.
Scaling up the hill.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So a ways off, the airship puts in low, and you all are offloaded into the water, and spend the next while either running casually along the water if you're Bajak, or swimming laboriously through the surf if you are everyone else.
I thought Ilya
but-
could make us all walk on water. Like Jesus.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Does that
They're
cost
holding
you
on to
money?
that. They're going to save that for the next time we have to run across the
I
ocean.
don't know if that will be too noticeable.
It's dark.
Oh, okay, yeah, I take it back. Let's water walk.
Okay. All right. So
Oh,
Ilya
this is
casts
what
water
Bajak
walk,
feels like.
and you are all able to jump out and stand on the heaving surface of the water, and make your way to the Dreadhold. So the ship would have to drop you off at a distance. So you're probably walking for a while, but before too long, you are clambering up onto the rocky cliffs around the Dreadhold. So at this point, Bajak's going to run up and hook a rope up. And I think that's a good place for another roll in this endeavor, because so far we've just had Kadric's investigation check.
Okay.
So it can be Bajak. Actually, you guys have 2 successes so far, because if you have an ability or a spell that overcomes a problem, for example, Ilya casts Water Walk and lets you guys walk across the surf, that can be used in place of a check. So Kadric's investigation check was a success. Ilya's use of Water Walk was a success. So for getting in, you have 2 successes already.
So, and how tall is the
Nice.
wall?
The wall, you can probably find a place where the wall's only about, the wall, not the tower, would only be about 140 feet above the water.
So I have to use a key point in order to go the full 150 feet. So would that me using that count as a success?
Sure, you're burning something. Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
I also
So-
have passed the trace on for us,
Okay.
Thank you.
just for the
Um,
record.
Probably after the water walking is done.
Water walk isn't concentration.
Really? Well, okay then.
Wow.
All right, so you reach the bottom, and Bajak. I mean, what's Bajak's going up walls look like? Is it just what it sounds like?
Yeah, I think I'm envisioning, rather than like kung fu just like running up the side of a wall, it's very Assassin's Creed of just finding the slightest sliver of a handhold, and probably using the hand axes as assistant,
Nice.
climbing axes almost. So just loops the rope into his belt and pulls the hand axes out, and then just with a running start starts like effortlessly flinging himself up the wall.
Awesome. So yeah, lightning crashing, the winds whipping around as Bajak goes up. The rope snakes and sways back and forth as it works, as Bajak carries it up to the top of the wall, and secures it for those of you ready to climb. So we're at 3 successes. And we have a rope over the wall. And so far, Ilya and Bajak and Kadric have contributed. So we have something from Thistle and something from Donabella at this point.
Great.
When you say something, not just I'm gonna climb up the rope, it's something else for the whole group.
It can absolutely be. You just are going to roll a physical check of some kind to go up the wall, or a stealth check to be careful and quiet here. It can just be a skill check, or it can be one of your abilities if you got something that seems particularly relevant here.
Okay.
Kadric will reach out to Ilya and say, "You're with me, I would assume."
Yeah, I got flustered out of character.
And would put his arm around her waist, and his ethereal, wispy, fog and light wings would spread, and they're gonna hover while Donabella gets herself onto the rope, but will stay even with them, and he will be using the elemental gift of flight on the way up.
Awesome.
And Ilya snuggles in, which is a thing that she learned over time and not something that comes natural.
I think Donabella is just gonna climb the rope.
Okay.
And so yeah.
So the normal skill check for climbing a rope would be athletics.
And that's I always get I just go to athletics and just roll from there.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do something. Ooh, 22.
Was that a natural?
I think that was a natural 20.
I
Natural
believe
20?
so, yes.
Awesome.
Let's go.
Not I believe so. It was, excuse me. Let me speak firmly. Yes. Nat 20, first roll out of the
Let's
gate.
go.
Nice. Yeah, Donabella just goes up the wall, like just hand over hand, straight up the rope, Ninja Warrior style, and scales the wall with ease for your 4th success.
And I'm going to say, unlike myself, she does it immediately. As soon as the rope is up, she's climbing.
Awesome. How about Thistle?
I can just fly up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I haven't contributed anything yet. And not that anybody needed it, but I have Druidcraft. Could I make like a little flower sort of, thorns grab the rope to, you said they were sort of like whipping in the wind to sort of hold them in place.
So I really like this, but Druidcraft is a cantrip, and so it's not actually costing you anything. But I would totally let you describe.
I'd be happy to roll.
I was going to say, do you have a roll you would like to make? You could make a roll with your spellcasting modifier. Or survival. Yeah, perfect.
I really thought you were gonna say the spikes in the rope for better grip.
I did too. I did
Bloody hands, like you're climbing up a rose.
Thistle doesn't understand why y'all are all complaining. Come on. 7. I rolled a 7, so 13. That doesn't feel successful, so I will push that.
And we are pushing in this session, viewers.
Yes, pushing is allowed.
Right, I'm not cheating.
Can Kadric use whatever ability let him roll 50 d20 earlier?
I do that at the start of every session.
What?
25 is much more successful. So yes, the
Feel better
rope
about that one.
seems to become kind of like a creeper vine and just cling to the walls as Thistle flies up, making it much more straightforward for Donabella as she scales straight up the wall. And very shortly, you are all sitting atop the walls of the Dreadhold. So, what I need somebody to do, and it could be any one of you, is to roll a d6. Somebody decide to do it.
Yeah.
Me.
Got it.
All right, go.
Oh.
Roll a
There we
d6.
go, Mia.
Oh,
Now I have to look and figure out which one's the D6. Sorry, there. Okay.
Right.
Uh-oh. 3.
3.
That's the worst number you could have rolled.
Thanks so much.
This makes a great deal of sense. So you, Donabella, flings herself up over the parapet, and all 5 of you are now on top of the dark gray stone walls in the rain. And about this time, Bajak, who's been up there for a while now and is, I assume keeping an eye out, Bajak, you can see a patrol coming down the wall towards you. There is a skeleton in very fine armor with a drawn sword and a pair of shadow mastiffs walking with it on its patrol. So this is so before you can move on to your next thing, where you got to deal with this in whatever way you choose. You can all just hide. You can try to ambush and kill it real fast, or throw it off the wall, or any number of other things.
Clarification, Mastiff as in the dog?
Yep.
Oh.
Shadow Mastiff, though, are undead spirits that are shaped like big, terrifying mastiffs. Yeah.
So
They're not real
animal
monsters.
handling would not work here.
Animal handling will not.
Okay.
but animal friendship, on the other hand.
Also not because it targets beasts.
I can just.
And neither
cast
of them would do
darkness.
anything with the skeleton, so.
And we pass without a trace is plus 10 to stealth,
Mhm.
right?
You're all very stealthy right now, so that's totally an
Yeah,
option.
that feels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kadric would pass this information, and it's full dark here. You said, right? It is dark at the Dreadhold.
Yeah, so undead of all kinds can see in perfect darkness, so there are no lights at the Dreadhold anymore.
Right. So they haven't seen us so far. First patrol right there. Everyone pick a spot.
All right.
And
If hiding is what
hide.
we're doing, then everybody needs to roll stealth, and you all get to add 10 to whatever you roll.
24 for Bajak.
29, 39 for Donabella.
Niall.
If we're adding 10, then I have a 41.
Ilya's gone,
22
y'all. I don't know what happened to her, but Ilya seems to have accidentally just glitched through the matrix.
as long as I remain still in an area of dim light or darkness, I am invisible with one with shadows. So
Okay.
I think I also.
plus
have
my plus 8 to stealth, plus my plus 10 for pass without. I'm sitting at an invisible with an 18 before I roll.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. I needed
did,
that plus 10. Thank you so much, Ilya.
What did you get, Thistle?
22 total.
Okay. All right. All of you crouch or vanish into shadows, and after a moment, with a slight creaking and clinking, the night goes by. The mastiffs follow, making no noise whatsoever as they pad across the parapet.
I missed a chance.
Well done.
All right, so you're crouched on a wall between 2 towers. You said you were going up near the Gold Ward Tower, and so you're probably sitting between the Gold Ward Tower and the workshop. at the other end of the wall that you're on. In the court below,
Okay.
you can see various doors entering and various stairways going down into the rock. In the center of the interior ward of the castle, there is just a massive cloud of impenetrable blackness, unless Ilya took Devil's Sight.
I think so.
Would surprise me if you didn't, but just checking.
I can't find anything on this sheet. Yes, I did.
Okay. Everyone else is just an impenetrable wall of blackness, out of which the central tower rises. Ilya, you, with Devil's Sight, can see through magical darkness, and as such, you can see through the mists of the darkness that's designed to prevent easy access to the entryway to the central tower. So your new problem, having overcome the walls, your new problem is you don't know where Cardane is in this prison. So need to decide how you're going to find out what ward you need to go to find Cardane.
In my researching, is there any form of history that I may have looked into that would tell me what goes in the different wings as a general rule, like what type of offense or category of criminal?
Yeah. Give me a roll.
$17.
Okay. That is not successful.
We're gonna push it. I don't know if we're pushing the second time. We are. And then I'm done.
15 damage for this roll.
It's a 24.
All right. So
good.
here's what you know about the different wards of the Dreadhold. 2 of the towers are considered red ward towers, and there's a substantial portion of the prison that's the red ward. This is the closest thing that the Dreadhold has to general population. This is all of this is a high security prison, but these are regular people who are sent to a high security prison. And it's worth noting that even in the good old days of law and order, plenty of people went to the Dreadhold because they were inconvenient to their countries. The Dreadhold was previously operated by one of the dragon-marked houses, House Kandaric, and the way that you sent someone to the Dreadhold was you contracted with House Kandaric to hold somebody for you. And House Kandaric wasn't really concerned with whether they had been convicted of a crime.
It was a service, not a branch of justice.
Right.
Gross.
So lots of criminals were in the Dreadhold, but also lots of political prisoners and
Lots of criminals.
yeah, lots of
Literally the plot of Old Boy. That's what this is.
Depending on which sources you read, possibly the true king of Karnath, all sorts of things.
Oof.
Philip,
So, yes.
feel free to tell me if this is stretching this spell too far afield. As part of Kadric's research, would prisoners wear some kind of designation, like a number or something on their persons? And then furthermore, if we were able to find Cardane's prisoner number, would you let me use locate object for the number plate that he would be wearing?
I would absolutely let you use that spell for that if you could find out his prisoner designation. Yes, in Kadric's research, you would know that prisoners are designated by they have a ward, their ward name followed by a number. So a prisoner in the red ward might be prisoner red 72. So the red ward is general population. It's for regular people the people who sent them here weren't concerned enough to pay for any sort of special incarceration. They're just in a maximum security prison. The gold ward is for, or was, you're really not sure what's there now, but was for prisoners that, for one reason or another, the country imprisoning them felt like they wanted them to have a relatively comfortable experience of maximum security prison. And so the Gold Ward was a luxury prison for exiled nobles and inconvenient extra children or relatives of the royal family or that sort of thing. One of the King of Brelin's best friends committed a bunch of war crimes, and so the king felt that he obviously had to send him to prison, but he put him in the Gold Ward for old time's sake.
Which is gross in the other direction.
It's
like
Right.
Yep.
Right.
He should have had a worse time.
Yep. So those are both towers. Those are both the towers that you can see, other than the fourth tower is the workshop. Down in a corner of the inner ward, there is a door, and you guys would have had access to a map, so you know roughly where the different wards are. That is the stone ward. This is where prisoners who have been petrified by the flesh to stone spell are kept. These are prisoners who are high risk of escape or violence, usually, but for one reason or another are inconvenient to kill, like you wouldn't want to kill them. And so they're in the stone ward where they can't do anything and are just there until the people imprisoning them stop paying the bills. In which case,
are they conscious in there? Or is it like
no? You're kind of in suspended animation.
Okay,
you're frozen in carbonite, to use a different pop culture reference.
This place is awful.
It really, really is. Another use of the stone ward was people that you really didn't want talking much, because people who are turned to stone can't talk.
bingo,
Yeah, makes it harder.
Bango.
Yep. As a random side note, the source article for the Dreadhold also points out that there were once a small number of voluntary inmates in the stone ward. People who decided, you know what, the continent has really gone to crap with this war going on. So they paid House Kandaric to petrify them and wake them up when the war was over.
Whoa.
Did they get woken up?
Fantasy Green Day.
As of the article's writing, which is set a couple years after the war ended, the warden is trying to decide whether the war is really over or whether it's just in a pause, and so he hasn't decided whether to wake them up yet.
Wow.
Oof.
Yep. And then below the prison is the deep ward. Sorry, not dark, the deep ward. And this is the most secure portion of the prison. This is where people are in solitary confinement. There is no light. You have no time out of your cell. You have no cellmate. You are fed through a slot in the door. Your food passed to you. There are 2 locked doors outside of every cell, in addition to a whole bunch of magical wards. This is for people you never want to see the light of day.
Let's not go there.
Or we absolutely
Unless-
have to go there.
No.
Or there's nowhere else we should start.
I'm just thinking of what that would do to someone's mind. So,
Do we know
Awful.
numbers of how many prisoners of which type are there?
You do not know. In theory, the Red Ward should be the most populous, but you do not have current population information. So that's what you have learned about the different wards, and you have a success on this task. And an idea. Now, since Eric brought up this idea as part of this check, I would say the unfortunate truth is records would be kept in the central keep, which is the administrative building.
That's the watchtower?
in the center. Yeah.
And the darkness that is around the watchtower is at the base level of it. It's not consuming the entirety.
It rises about 60 feet up the tower, but the tower is about 150 feet tall. So,
Is there a window on the wall that we can see?
I will decide that by just looking at the thing I sent you.
The thing you sent us kind of looks like it.
It does have windows.
Yeah, it definitely has windows.
And we want to get into that watchtower just to get the records and find out where Cardane is kept.
It's an option.
Yes, that is the most likely place where you would find that information.
That's what I wanted to clarify. Thank you so much for checking, Mia.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, we have to find him, so we have to know where to go. We can't just search all of the towers. Or wards, excuse me.
Thistle is our smallest, right? Substantially.
I am small. And I can reduce my size.
Well, with Pass Without a Trace, my thought was maybe you just fly straight up and see if there's anyone on top of the watchtower.
Well, the problem with just part of that sentence is Pass Without a Trace requires Thistle to stay within 30 feet of Ilya. And so,
fair enough. That's valid.
By the time Thistle got up there, she would be well outside the order.
I think I can.
I am not super stealthy without Ilya's help.
I can be invisible. So if we can figure out how I can also scale the building.
Well, so can Kadric. He can also be invisible. And I can make one other person the same.
Yeah.
Can anyone else lose the ability to be seen?
I mean, Bajak's got a
I
plus
can
9
Misty
stealth,
Stab.
so Bajak is stealthy. Like, he can't turn outright invisible, but he is hard to see.
I also have invisibility.
A tiny Thistle would be hard to see.
That is true. Little bitty Thistle.
How small would a tiny Thistle be?
She'd be the size of a pixie, the pixie that she once was before the Forest Queen enlarged her. So
Would
I
she
mean,
be...
you would measure her height in inches.
So we can put her in our pocket.
That is accurate. Yes, you could easily put Thistle in a pocket.
Okay, so we're getting into the administrative building.
Yep.
Who's going to do it?
Yes.
Oh, are we not all going?
The
I mean, we
easiest
could.
path there would probably be Kadric because he can fly and be invisible. I believe
Your
that's
flight
my
is a
greater
limited
invisibility.
resource, though, right?
I have 10 minutes and I can do it 5 times.
Okay.
But I'm only invisible for 1 minute.
There's no reason to see what's on top of the watchtower, right? Whoever goes would just go through one of the windows.
If it's just one of us, yes. In which case, making a tiny Thistle invisible would probably be the smartest option for getting through a window.
It seems likely that I would be able to get through a window.
Is this the route we want to go?
Sure.
I don't know. What do your characters want to do?
Well, I don't want to force Thistle up there if Thistle doesn't want to go. Like I could bamf myself up there and be invisible and take a peek.
Thistle is
But
not
I'd
afraid
be-
to go, and she
Okay.
is mortified at the kinds of prisoners that are here. Like, she is already processing that we are talking to the Queen of Thorns about people who need protection.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And this isn't even like evil Colseer things. This is just how
Right.
it's always been.
And
Okay.
I don't think we'd want to all go up because we don't know where Cardane is, right? And Cardane is probably going to be on a ground level or lower. So all going up into the watchtower, I don't think makes sense. Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, just the plan here is to send Thistle to the watchtower to find an administrative office to look up Cardane's name and hopefully identify his prisoner number.
The prisoner number is the essential thing that we need. Yeah.
Yes, that's what we need.
Okay. And we don't know where that information would be other than in the watchtower.
Correct.
Yeah.
So is there a roll that we can make before Thistle gets over there to have some indication of which direction to go once she enters through a window? Or
somebody pitch
the
me an idea
window
of
she
how
should
you'd
go
find
through.
that out. You guys are the ones making the rolls, so somebody pitch me the roll that you're going to make to find that out. Except that it probably shouldn't be Thistle rolling, since we have planned for what Thistle's doing for this.
Would intelligence be an okay roll for that?
Intelligence is all about knowledge, so it could either be, you can do a raw intelligence roll, or it can be a roll using a skill if you've got one that's tied to intelligence. You guys can do a lot of things with this. You can try to nab somebody to ask questions of. You guys can try to have found out ahead of time. You can try to accidentally spot the warden through a window. Like, it's you guys are making the fiction.
Oh, observation. If we nab somebody, Thistle does have Zone of Truth.
Ooh.
So would they even have to be nabbed, or could that be something if you saw the warden, you could hit him with that in the office? Well, he's going to snap out of things.
Right. Then he would know. Yeah.
All of you would know it's a very bad idea to go for one of you to try to go toe to toe with the warden of this place.
Yeah.
Just
Do we know
give you
anything about
that is a
warden?
very bad idea. You know the
What do we
warden is
know
a
about the
powerful
warden?
necromancer because they run a prison staffed by undead.
Don't love that. I guess I could. Did anybody else have any? Do we have insight or history, investigation, proficiencies?
Cadric has
from
already
anyone?
rolled, so it's got to be somebody else.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Bajak has insight. So if we want to say that we managed to get, we could try to grab somebody here, or we could say that we, prior to coming here,
Yeah.
nabbed somebody to give if that's possible, to have gotten a
Sure.
prisoner to give us
Yeah.
a layout of the administrative building to know where we could get Cardane's number.
Okay.
Does that work, Philip?
Absolutely. What's the role that's going to happen for that? So this is an interesting case, but what we're doing here is we're going to use y'all's skills, because the most logical thing is to say that Kara's Resistance did this in preparation. Yeah. Kara's Resistance grabbed an Emerald Claw agent and persuaded them to tell the truth. So somebody suggest a role you're going to make to represent the job by the Resistance of grabbing a Emerald Claw agent and forcing the truth out of them.
I have a
Intimidation?
+9 insight, so I want to say that they just kept asking, and if they could see that they were lying, they just racked up the pain and then asked again, and then if they lied, kept going until they were satisfied that they were telling the truth.
All right, roll insight.
A gross lie detector.
That's a natural 1, so I'm gonna push that. I'm gonna push that one more time.
Welcome to the world of pain, Eric.
Okay, I'm gonna take the previous roll. 17.
17 is not a success.
Oof.
The fanatical nature of the Emerald Claw resisted the interrogation methods of Kara and the
death.
Resistance up till death.
Could we try that again with a different?
So
Yeah.
right now, what we've got is Kadric and Bajak have both rolled. We've designated Thistle's roll for this round. But just mechanically, it's also true that you guys now know you will not have succeeded by the end of this round. And so you will have a
Right.
complication between now and when you can succeed. So whoever of those three wants to roll, a new round will come up before you can succeed.
Who? Thistle, Bajak, and Kadric, whoever of those three.
Thistle or Donabella or Ilya have not rolled this round yet. So you guys decide what's something you're doing to try and find this out. That has failed. You can't just say they kept trying and found somebody. So it's got to be a new idea.
Could the idea be?
Sorry.
Okay. I was just thinking. I've got Donabella has +9 sleight of hand, and she could try to. We can say that historically we tried to get the schedule or the schedule. What? Yeah.
You can, yeah. So you can say that you tried to steal some records.
There it is.
You could also say that you do that right now. You're in the prison. There's guards walking around. You could absolutely go pickpocket somebody.
Hmm.
You're a telekinetic. You could pickpocket somebody at a distance.
From
my
where
goodness.
you are. Take heed.
But I'll tell you what, it feels like I would want to have known that beforehand, because just picking anyone's pocket, walking around, I don't feel like every guard is going to have the schedule in their pocket.
You're a highly trained person. You can probably figure out which one does.
All right, then we're doing it now.
All right.
So I'm just go.
Describe who you see that and why you know they have the information you would need to figure out where the administrative office is.
Can I witness someone coming out of the darkness at the bottom? All right. So I see two dudes walking out from the darkness. One has got a clipboard and is giving orders to what appears to be an underling. The underling goes away, and I pickpocket the dude with the clipboard.
Sweet. Roll sleight of hand.
I was genuinely going to make a clipboard joke after you explained it. I'm so happy.
Oh, snap. That's a 29.
Yes.
That's real good.
Yeah. You
with the net.
You spot that the people who you've seen, you've been watching for a while, and Ilya can see through the darkness. So probably like between the two of you, you've observed that the people who seem to go in and out of the tower have a particular badge pinned to their uniform, and these people that you're seeing are not like skeletal or zombie-like undead, so they have full intelligence and so seem like sort of in charge people. So yeah, you reach out, you creep along the wall, lean it down and reach out with your telekinesis, and you just lift a file out of the satchel this person is wearing, and it floats right through the air up into your hand. And looking through it, you can see that, contrary to the expectation of fantasy, but far more practical from an actual function, the warden's office is like on the 3rd floor. Like, it's pretty low in the tower, so that the warden doesn't have to go up 15 flights of stairs to get to their office. So yes, you have learned that the warden's office is about on the 3rd floor. So
all right, we're going for the 3rd floor, guys.
That is 3 success this round. We've got oh wait, yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, it's 2 because Kadric rolled, Bajak failed. 2 success. So Thistle and Thistle and Ilya can still make a roll to try and contribute to this effort before the round ends.
So
I'm trying.
it's hard not to metagame
Yep.
Because we know Thistle's role, but I don't want the complication to be when she's by herself in the warden's office. Like, I'm just really struggling to.
I can understand
Well-
that entirely.
Like,
I was kind
We're-
of thinking, like, on what else do we need to make this successful? Because it feels like we have all of it, other than obviously not mechanically.
Mhm.
And I do have, like, disguise self, and I have darkness, and I wonder if I should, like, go up there with you, because just in we don't want someone by themselves just in case we get caught.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Who
And,
is
or I could just make myself invisible.
either of those? Any of those works. Disguise self and invisibility are probably your better bets, just because a big walking globe of darkness is noticeable.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like it the
It's
most.
I do too. I don't blame you. And any of them can work. So you decide which one Ilya will use to contribute to this and go along with Thistle.
I feel like, yeah, probably invisibility, because also that way I can just, like, while you're looking around through the papers, I can just, like, stand intimidatingly by the door, but it will be for no purpose to be intimidating because no one can see me, but it'll be nice for Thistle to see the intimidation,
Yes.
which she also won't be able to see. It's just for me.
All right, so you're gonna use a spell slot and cast invisibility.
Yeah, well, it's my ranger thing, so I can do it like 5 times, so I use one of those.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, hide in plain sight, yeah, or something like that, right?
For the record,
Nature's
big
veil.
walking blob of darkness is going to be my new Tinder bio. I want that to be noted that I claim that.
All right, so Donabella or Ilya melts into the darkness around herself, and begins to cross with Thistle. Thistle, what role are you going to make?
I was going to use the spell slot to reduce my
That makes
size.
sense. Okay. So you shrink down, and a phasing darkness of Ilya is accompanied by the Tinkerbell-like presence of the reduced Thistle, as the two of you make your way across to the tower. I need somebody to roll a d6 for the complication this round.
Oh.
This one has to be Eric, right? Like,
Doesn't have to be.
I touched my nose.
I'll do it.
No, I'll do it.
By ancient custom, Eric did touch his nose.
fair enough.
I do have
There are
a
cave
very
paintings of that.
cool, super dark.
Ooh,
Oh, and it's dark.
And
have
that
an-
would-
you have an evil.
One. I got a
D6.
1. Are you happy, Colin?
One.
You proud of yourself? I touched my nose.
Okay. Cool.
Not cool.
I don't believe you, Philip.
That's a cool.
Unless
I
this
don't
is one
believe
of your
you.
funny things where
No.
rolling low is a good thing.
Honestly, they're listed as I had the ideas. Like that's the order that the list is in. Is as I had the ideas. So
Well,
they're
you
not
have your most nefarious ideas first, so
or the most obvious.
The longer he gets
Something
to
with
stew,
an
the worse it
ES
gets.
at the end.
Yeah.
How do you not rearrange
Anyway.
them then in level of evilness after you write them all down, though?
I
He
write in
doesn't
pen.
have OCD like us. Monty.
Write in pen. That's I don't know. Okay. So as you watch, so I'm going to say probably at this point, we've all descended the wall and we're crouched in the shadows of the inner ward of the fortress. And as your companions begin to make their way over towards the tower to try and get into a third floor window, the three of you that have stayed behind, a door opens very close to your hiding space, and you crouch down into the darkness. And two figures come out. One of them is a heavily coated, like he's wearing a big heavy coat with a high collar. You can see pale, sickly looking skin and dark hair. The other figure is seems to be a mummy. You can see the person clothed, but under the clothes, wrapped in bandages, a desiccated corpse. The pale figure turns and says, "Who's next on the interview list?" Laura, tell me the name of someone from the Resistance who's been missing.
Ugh.
Oh no. Like a new person?
Yeah, just tell me someone. I don't know. You could pull an NPC, I guess. I don't care.
Tommel.
No, I didn't even say that.
I've already stated where Tommel is in this world.
Tommel is gonna be getting home soon. He's safe. Oh no, I'm so bad at coming up with names. Wait, hang on, I got it. This is the hardest thing you've ever asked me.
That seems
I feel that
highly
pain.
unlikely.
I totally feel that pain. I'm not laughing at you. I just empathetic.
See, Philip hates it when I do this to him, but he can't do it back because I'll just say something stupid. So he can't like.
My first 3 names were something really stupid like Wendy. So
Wendy.
Hey, Wendy's a fine
God.
name. I came up with
Apologies to all of the
I said
Wendy's
Jimothy.
in the
no, okay,
audience.
no. It's not a
You hear
stupid
that,
name,
Wendy?
but
Your name's stupid.
no, I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
Wendy.
Follow them
We
on
love you,
Twitch.
Wendy.
You just
Glomdy.
Wendy, you just don't have a fantasy name is all. Let's say this character is Wendy though. Wendy make
Is it with
Wendelson.
two Y's
Just
though?
kidding, it's just Wendy.
To make it
Yeah.
to make it
Mhm.
fantastical. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay.
The first Y is in the middle.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Is it
Just
Wendy
for the
Darling?
record.
Is it? Did
No,
she get nabbed out
it's
of
not.
Neverland?
It's
Oh my
Wendy.
goodness.
What's the opposite of darling?
We can't
I
say
did.
that on
We
this
can't
show.
say that.
We're a family show. Glomdy. Please. That's for another show.
All right, stop it. This is a terrible moment.
Again.
The
Philip's about to torture somebody, you guys.
the mummy.
Why you should know not to ask me for a
factotum.
name.
Looks. I didn't. The dice decided that you got to name the person. Looks up and says, "Corvarian resistance fighter, my lord. One Wendy." And the interrogator nods, and the two of them begin to walk towards towards another door along the walls. What are the three of you going to do, if anything? Nothing is an option.
Poor Wendy.
No one has any kind of communication other than talking, right? We don't have any telepathic link here.
I don't believe
Oh
so.
no, we don't have communicators?
Oh, you guys definitely have communicators. Sorry, I didn't realize that's what you meant.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys definitely have the same little, essentially, Strike Force communicators that the Strike Force have.
Is that the Wendy car I was talking about?
I think so.
You guys know this person. This is somebody who worked with you in the Resistance and has gone missing.
Oof.
Cadric would turn his gaze over to our monk, who is going to be our least chaotic option. Do we intervene here? Just look for his gesturing.
Bajak gives a very subtle and slight nod.
Okay. And they are how far away from us?
They're only about 30 feet from you.
Turning to Donabella, we fix this?
Yeah, we got to.
he will reach a hand out in the direction of the cloaked one who spoke first, the leader, and cast Levitate and raise him 10 feet in the air and pull him back towards the center of the room.
So, just to clarify where you are, you guys are in the big open ward inside the wall.
Oh, I thought we were still up top. I didn't realize we were in a courtyard proper.
Yeah. Y'all are in a courtyard.
Then he does not do that. And instead crouches to follow at a distance towards, I'm assuming the way I had it in my head is towards Bajak, a little closer down their path.
I mean, this is an interrogator going to interrogate a prisoner who's in an interrogation chamber is the vibe we're getting, right?
Yes.
Thistle and Ilya have already gone, correct? Yeah. Bajak would put a hand on Kadrik's arm as Kadrik crouches down to follow and just shakes his head and steps in front like, you stay here for... We don't know when Thistle and Ilya are going to be back. Like, we can't just be gone when they return. All of that is said through the subtle shaking of Bajak's head.
We've been doing this a while.
Yes. And Bajak goes to follow the interrogator.
Okay.
If we were a movie, Bajak would have done the head gestures and the subtitles would have come up at the bottom.
No, you must stay behind for the other before we are done. Allow me to do this.
All of it in the eyebrows.
Yeah. All right. And on that note, we are going to wrap up this episode.
Oh.
We are split 3 ways right now.
Oh, we are.
Oh my goodness.
In the most secure
Always
prison
split
in
the
the
party. Always split the
Always
party. It's more
split.
fun.
Yep. All right. Thank you all so much. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can find links to our social media down below. You'll find links to the Geek Pantheon's YouTube channel, where you'll see Eric making TTRPG videos, to Colin's Twitch, where he is sorry BTR, to Mia's Twitch, where she is more than a Mia, as well as to Laura's Twitch, where they are Glomdy. Is it just Glomdy?
Yes, and I'm gonna start doing proper crafting streams soon.
What?
Ooh.
Yes,
So
that's
excited.
awesome.
Cool.
Isn't it?
I did a mini test one and it went okay.
That's fantastic. Yes, so go check out Laura Crafting at twitch.tv/Glomdy. You can also find things that Laura has crafted at the Lazy Fox Creates on Etsy. Including
that.
awesome things. Not this specific
Just
thing. 'Cause
Lazy
she made this
Fox.
they made this just for me, but
Look at that.
oh, just Lazy Fox. Okay, at the Lazy Fox. Journals like this one and other things. Well, not like this one. This
Make
one
me make
they made
special
specifically
things
for me
because
'cause
that's
it's
my
awesome.
favorite thing.
Anyway, look at all those things in the links down below. New episodes of Khyber Shards drop on Mondays. New Khyber Shards answers on Fridays. And until next time, thanks for rolling with us.